Okay,
Yeah.
great. Let me make you co-host.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks. Brandon, if you could, when you co-host, there's certain times when I need to change the view from what we've got now to being a single face because I'm showing them experiments.
Okay.
Can you do that, or instead of me going and finding it, or should I do it?
In YouTube?
Yeah, or I can just say full. Well, you'll see. I'll say I'm holding. You can see I'm holding something up because I stop sharing and then I start showing. So that's when I want to get as big a screen as possible for them to be able to see. Because this
Uh,
this lesson is my interesting one. Sometimes the
yeah.
experiments work and sometimes the experiments don't. So we take it as it comes, experiment by experiment.
Yeah.
And then they are able to see all the different experiments that we've got.
So how
So
many participants have joined?
I'm supposed to have, hold on, I'll tell you right now how many people should be coming in is 7.
7. Okay.
7 should be coming into class. Now, I just hope they haven't got the other ID as well,
Yeah, I hope so.
because there's 7 people due to come into class. But so we'll give them a few seconds to come in, but I'm not sure whether it'll show me maybe in my inbox that somebody's tried to join my Zoom.
Yeah, I think
Nobody at
they
the,
are trying to log in with a different ID.
oh dear. So what do we do with that?
Let me check.
Okay, thanks. For those who've joined us on live streaming, we're just waiting to sort out a slight problem that we seem to have here, where there are 2 different IDs for joining my class. And so Brandon, who's my TA, will be sorting it out for me to see what is happening, because there are quite a number of people who are due to join, but we're not sure if they are joining through the wrong portal. So just give us a minute or 2 to sort out the slight technical hitch, and then we'll be able to go with that. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully we're going to be able to give you a really nice display of awesome things that you can do. So we have a lot of people who are ready and waiting to come in, but we're not quite sure where they are. So let's just be patient. I hope you've all had an amazing day, and that you are going to, those of you who are heading towards midnight, I really appreciate the fact that you're still up at midnight. I know I work till midnight, but that's something different. But to stay up this late, unless of course you're somebody who doesn't need sleep like me, then it doesn't matter if you are up nice and late. But those who are coming in and watching on live streaming, I really do appreciate the fact that you are doing this. We will just take another probably minute or 2 to find out the problem. Otherwise, I will just start without it. Just wait for Brandon to come back to me with an answer. Maybe I should. Maybe.
So I think there's confusion between two IDs.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to send a message to Slack and see if they can help us.
Yeah, I already did that.
Oh, okay, great, thanks. So will they be able to sort that out, do you think?
I guess
Yes.
so far there's no response.
Okay, right. I will also maybe, if I
Yeah,
send one as well.
you can Slack too.
Yeah, let me try. I have two, um, I- Okay, I think because we're live streaming, I think I'm going to have to start. Um, Otherwise, let's just see if I can save that. Go back to I need help. Um, 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 okay, Duval is seeing if she can help me with this. Okay, right. For those that are watching on live streaming, I'm going to start doing some experiments for you. Um, so let's see. I'm going to start, Brandon, and we'll just go with that. I'm going to share and we'll see what happens from there. Let me share my screen. Let me just grab where I am. Right, let's share screen. That's a strange start. Welcome everybody who's watching on live streaming. Let's enjoy a class where we are going to learn some simple experiments that you can do with your grandkids and keep them occupied for many hours. Now, what I wanted to do was start with this. Oops, my recording is on pause. Oh, it is recording. Okay. Right. Thanks, Brandon. It's recording. Right. I wanted to start with this one. It's an unconventional way of starting a class. Normally, I start with introductions and I start with the company and myself. But this time, I want to take a different view. I want to start with an experiment because it needs time for you to be able to see it at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the experiment that you can see right there in front of you. It's called walking water. And what you do is you take yourself, I'm going to stop sharing already. Right. Now, what you're going to do is you take a series of glasses with food coloring in, a red one, an empty one, a yellow one, an empty one, a blue one, an empty one. Then You fill it up quite high because you want the water to be able to go through quite quickly. You take some roller towel, fold it, and put it into the water and the empty jar. This doesn't want to go into the empty one. And then the next one, you take it as well, put it into the empty jar and into the liquid. The following one goes into the liquid and the empty jar. And the last one goes into the empty jar and the liquid. Push it down nicely. Now, what is going to happen during our lesson is that the color is going to move from the full jar to the empty jar on both sides, and we're going to end up with the colors of the rainbow. But this takes a little time. So while it is doing what it's doing, we will start our class. Right, so welcome everyone to Science Experiments. What we are doing is, as you know, we learn from each other. Ideally, if you've got cameras, it's great to put them on. And if you're joining by live streaming, it's awesome for you to be part of the class. But it's even better if you register and then you can partake in the class. If I use any products, it's purely things that I use, and it's certainly not something for you to do. So let's have a look. Now, a little bit about me. I'm Sue. I live in Perth, Australia. I've been an educator for 44 years now, and I enjoy creating and making things, including puzzles. I have a great love of animals, and because I was an educator, I can now share all my ideas with my peers instead of educating. And for me, that is awesome. So let's see where we're going from here. Right, our objective today is to do some simple experiments, to make some gift wrap, to have fun with balloons, and lastly, to have bubble fun. That is the best of all, is to have the bubble fun. So I hope that from here, you'll have some simple, easy experiments that we're using things that you have around the house and be able to do them. Now, our experiments, we need oil and water, a little bit of milk. We're going to do fireworks in a jar with that. We're going to make marble gift wrap, and we're going to play with balloons, having so much fun along the way. The stuff that we require is maybe a Pyrex dish or something that's low and flat, a glass bottle, an eyedropper, a straw, a little pipette if you've got it, or a straw will work, some Q-tips and cotton balls, some vegetable oil, water, milk, food coloring, crayons, and dishwashing liquid. So let's begin. The first experiment we're going to do is we're going to take a jar that I've put some vegetable oil into. I tried with baby oil, but baby oil, although it's clear, is not as thick as the vegetable oil, and so you don't get the same kind of reaction. So for me, the best one to use is a vegetable oil. So opening up so that I don't, having dropped it dropped anywhere. I then mix color, a little bit of food coloring in a jar with some water, a little glass container. I've mixed blue, red, and green. Now, taking my pipette, I take a little bit in my pipette, and I'm going to, let me just share screen, stop sharing screen at the moment. It's easier for you to see. Right, my jar, I've got my pipette, and now I'm going to drop some drops of this coloring in, and you'll see they start to fall to the bottom. I'll choose the next color, add that to it, and just a few of the last color. some green ones, but you can put lots in. The children can add all that they want to add. And they've got all these little bubbles and balls that have landed at the bottom. Now, what you can do is you take your lid, put your lid back on, and they can turn it upside down, and all the little bubbles now go the other way. And then you can turn it back, and again they fall. So the more you've got, the more they will fall. And you have this wonderful waterfall of different colors going up and down, almost like a snow globe. But this time it's oil, water, and food coloring. And they have a lot of fun playing with that. Eventually the balls break because the viscosity has now been disturbed, and they are then able to see what they are seeing. And then it'll go brown. You'll end up with a brown mess at the bottom. Then all you do is take your oil, drain your oil off, leave the little bit that's got all the little bubbles at it, throw that away, and use your oil again. So it's very economical in how you use it. The second one that we do with that is your fireworks in a jar. You have 2 jars. Don't worry about what to do. If you get my email, all of the experiments are there, and they tell you exactly how to make them and do them. This one, you take your oil and water. You take water in a jar, take a little warm water in a bottle or jar, take a little bit of oil and put the different food colorings in the oil, and then take a fork and mix it up so that it becomes, the colors all start to sort of break up and they become trails. You then tip that oil into the warm water and watch what happens. Those colors shoot across from one side of the glass to the other side of the glass and up and down. And it really looks like there's fireworks taking place in the jar. It really is such fun. And all you hear are, ooh, can we do that again? And that is awesome. The third experiment that you can do is, this one is done with milk and your food coloring again. What you do is take a very thin layer of milk, put it across the bottom, and just drop with an eyedropper some color in different places. Then taking a little bit of dishwashing liquid and a Q-tip. You dip the Q-tip in and make sure it's got quite a bit of food coloring on it, and then you just touch the water, or sort of say the milk, close to where the color is. That color scatters everywhere. It does not like the dishwashing liquid at all, and it makes the most beautiful patterns and designs. You can do the same by putting all the colors in the center, and then using a cotton wool ball, one of these things, a cotton ball, put some of this dishwashing liquid on it, drop it in the center of this mixture of colors, and they explode like a rainbow all over and take up residence as far away from the center as possible. So it really is an interesting experiment of playing with color and playing with different things that work together, and things that are like a magnet. The opposite sides of a magnet attract, the same sides push away. Well, in the same way this works. Put in the dishwashing liquid and it pushes those colors as far away as possible. Now, this is, I think, my granddaughter's favorite experiment, because you get to eat it afterwards. You take a plate and you can put M&Ms. I've actually got Smarties because they're easy for me to work with. And you can put them in a small bowl. In the bottom left-hand corner is, in fact, the bowl that I use when I'm doing this experiment. It's just a little round lid from a bottle, and I've put my Smarties in all the way around in a lovely pattern. Then all you do is take your pipette and fill it with water, and you drop the water in so that the water just touches the Smarties or the M&Ms. You don't want it to go all over the place. You want it to just touch, and you don't want too much. And then literally within seconds, hi, Deval.
Hi.
Within seconds, you've got the colors starting to mix, and they somehow the center of every dish happens to have a lower point in the center. And so all the colors then drain into the center. And you get what we've just seen at the bottom right-hand corner, which is this. Your colors drain in, and they all merge in the center. And they are, depending on whether they're vibrant colors that were on the M&Ms or on the Smarties, the colors come off and they merge in the center. And then what you can do is, once they've seen that, take the Smarties out carefully, turn them over, and then you can do it a second time before they eat the food, the Smarties or whatever they've got there. So that is where they work. So you've got that, and that's how it goes. Now, a completely different thing. Mine is starting to work, but I know if I pick it up, you're not going to see it. But that's how you do it. Now, this is making wrapping paper. Sometimes you think, oh, I've got to have a present for someone. I haven't got any wrapping paper. I can't go to the shops. What am I going to do? Well, very simple wrapping paper. What you do is you take, stop sharing, you take some shaving cream and you put it into whatever size bowl you want. Don't worry if your paper needs to be bigger, because you can put it down and then put the second part that hasn't been touched down, and you can build from there. You take your and you make it nice and smooth, not too thick a layer. Don't make the mistake of putting too much. Too much doesn't make any difference. A little bit works just as well as a great big pile. Then onto that, you take, let's move, I'm running out of space here. You take your little food colorings that you've got, your little tubes of food coloring, and you just put a little splodge on top. I'm just going to put a couple of splodges of green. I'll put a couple of red. Just pop them on. 1, 2, 3. And yellow, making a rainbow in this one. Putting some yellow. Oops, put the yellow there and there. And lastly, blue. So I'm creating a rainbow here. So I've got all my little drops. I'm just popping them down on here. That'll do. Ooh, that place doesn't look as if it's got anything. Now, I've put my colors on. They're just splodges. I've just sploshed. Then I take a fork and I make designs with my fork. I take them and I mix them all together with pretty patterns. I'm designing and adding color all over the place. So I've created a lovely colorful rainbow. Nothing in that corner. Right, there's my rainbow made. I have made a rainbow of color. On top of that, you take a piece of paper and you just place your paper on top. Just touch it down lightly. Leave it there for about 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds at the most. And then you pick it up. All right, I haven't pressed down hard enough on this one. My next one, I'll probably press down a little harder. I was doing it in the air. I've now got this, and it's still got, if you look sideways, you can see it's still got the stuff on it. Now, all I do is take a tissue box has decided not to give me a tissue, and let it stand for a few seconds, and then you wipe it. None of it runs. It doesn't run at all. As you wipe off, nothing runs. The colors stay exactly as you touch down. There it goes. that's what I made. That's what I touched down with. I could have pushed down harder and then it would have made more of a pattern. I made one the other day, a bigger one, which I did with two lots because I had two lots of paper to do. It was longer. I did one, and then the other I only did it with blue and yellow, which made different shades of green. But you can make really interesting paper. The children love it, and then they wrap up a small present for mom or dad or whoever they want to wrap up, be it a chocolate biscuit or anything, and they can take it home in their wrapping paper that they've made. I've certainly used this for myself when I've suddenly found that I didn't have what I needed, and I've quickly made wrapping paper. It takes a matter of minutes to put together, and it's done. So there's my design. If I press down even harder, I would have made it. Let me press down harder this time. Give it a really good press. Make sure that I'm picking up as much color as I can. Oh, there we go. That's a much better one. Now I've picked up a huge array of color. And so then again, just let it stand for a second and then just wipe it off. And you can use this for a really large piece of paper because you haven't used very much of it. Depending on, you could probably create enough for an entire class of children or for a big one size sheet of paper just out of a small piece like that. And then all you would do is keep putting it into the packet, into the shaving cream, and then it would be done. So there we are. There's my next one, much brighter. I've just pressed down a little harder. So that just gives you an idea of making yourself some wrapping paper. Lovely, quick and easy thing to do. Now, let's have a look. We're going to make a jellyfish in a bottle. Now, this sounds a bit difficult, but it's not. You take a little Ziploc bag and cut off the bottom of the Ziploc. You don't need that. You push the bag through your fingers to make a little bubble at the top, and you can tie it with a little piece of string. And then from the bottom, you cut little tentacles, but you don't need a lot. You only need about 6 at the most, and the rest you cut off. You cut off 90% of the bag. You've just got a few tentacles. Don't make the mistake of thinking the more tentacles, the better it'll look. The more tentacles will clog up the bottle and you won't be able to use it. It'll take a lot of time to turn. So you want a few tentacles. You then fill the little hole that you've made at the top with water, leaving a little air bubble at the top, sort of a half-size air bubble at the top. And then you put it into a bottle that you've added some water to, and you've put food coloring in to make it blue. Now, for you to be able to see this, I'm going to put it onto a light because it makes it easier for you to see. Stop sharing. There we go. There's my light. You can see it up at the very top. Now, when I turn it around, you'll see there goes, he turns around and he's now facing the top. When I turn him back the way he was, he turns around and there he goes. There goes my octopus back up to the top. My 9-year-old granddaughter, every time she comes, she spends a good length of time busy looking at it with me because she comes in and he plays with it for a bit and then she is gone to go and do something else that she likes to do. Now, I'm going to try, will it? No, it's not going to. The colors were doing so nicely from my Smarties. They were really looking good. Right, now let's share our screen again. Right, all of these, as I've said before, are available from me in my email. Now playing with balloons. Such fun to play with balloons. All you need for the first experiment is some baking soda, some vinegar, old bottle, and a balloon. Also, probably a funnel makes it easier to put the things inside. So I have got my bottle, and I have put some vinegar at the bottom of my bottle. Oh, I forgot to take the label off my bottle. That wasn't very clever. Let me just delabel my bottle because you want to be able to see. I changed bottles. I thought my bottle had got too old. So I thought I would try a new bottle and a new, I've done the other one about 15 times in the same bottle and the same balloon. Choose a good quality balloon. It's worth it because there is quite a lot of pressure that takes place. Now, I've put my vinegar at the bottom. I've taken my balloon and I have put 3 teaspoons of baking soda inside my balloon. Now, I'm going to tip it up and hopefully, without popping off, it's going to start blowing up the balloon. There it goes. There goes my balloon. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it takes about an hour for the balloon to eventually go back down. But there is your balloon. It's been blown up by the bicarb interacting with the vinegar. And so you've now blown up a really beautiful balloon, and the children have had great fun doing that. So then all you do is when the balloon goes down, you can take it off, refill it, and again put the bicarb into the bottle. Just make sure your balloon has had time to dry off. Otherwise, it starts to react immediately, and it can be quite an interesting reaction. But there's my balloon. He's really gorgeous. He's a nice big balloon that has grown up. Right, let's pop him over there. He can stand over there. Right, now, the second experiment we're going to do is an experiment with a balloon and a coin, a dime or a penny, whatever coin you've got. I've chosen a $2 because it's one of our smallest coins that we have. And you open up like this and you push the coin inside. Then once you've pushed the coin into where it is, you then blow up your balloon. Now, you can tie your balloon off. I'm not going to tie my balloon off. And then you start to swing it like this. And the coin that is now inside starts to make not only make a noise, it's breaking up all the air inside. Do not let it land on the ground because it will pop straight away, because now the pressure is different inside the balloon and outside. And then if you throw the balloon from one person to the other, it doesn't just float up and go down, it takes its own path, which the children find really interesting, is the fact that it takes its own path and off it goes. So that is breaking the atom. It actually breaks up the atoms inside the balloon. And so it is an interesting one to make. The last one we're going to do in the balloons is to make a balloon rocket. Now, what you do is you take a straw and you attach a balloon to the straw with some masking tape or duct tape. I'm on the wrong side of it. It doesn't want to go up. So we've got that. And I've attached the straw to the balloon just with some tape. You then get some string and you attach it to something else on the other side of the room. It can go upwards, it can go straight across, however you want it to go. And then you can either hold it or, if it's young children, tie it off at the other end as well. So it's a tight piece of wire. Now, it's not to swap hands here. This should be interesting. All right, managed to do that. Now, I've attached it to a pole at the top of my room that I've attached. And now I'm going to let go my balloon and it's going to hit the pole at the other end. There it goes. It's now reached the top and down it comes back. And the children will play for hours. They'll work out whose one goes fastest. If you need a big straw, a small straw, a piece of straw, a whole straw, they will work out for themselves scientifically why they need a long straw or a short straw. Particularly the older ones, they need to know more of the science than the younger ones who just want the wow factor of, gee, there goes my balloon right over there, and I've either got to go and fetch it or it comes back to me. And they really let them know what difference it is. So let's have a look and see what the next thing is that we're going to make. Thank you, Brandon, much appreciated. Now, let's go through the next one. We were started off the lesson at the very beginning, and it's starting to work. You can see we started with white paper. I forgot to stop sharing. Oops. Let me stop sharing. And now you can see. Here we've got them. The colors are starting to mix already. You've got your yellow and your red are starting to make orange. Your yellow and your blue are starting to make green. Now, if you leave this for about 6 hours, the empty cups fill and you end up with a red, a green, an orange, a red, a green, a yellow, and orange. Sorry, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, the colors of the rainbow. And if you add another red at the other end, you end up with the whole rainbow. And it really is so beautiful to see them because you get the indigo color as well. And all it's such a simple experiment, but it goes so well. And that's so easy for them to do. And it's called walking water. So easy, and yet such an exciting thing for them to watch and see how it changes. So, oopsie, I moved a page. The next one we're doing is up in the top left-hand corner. We're doing magic writing. You can do this in 2 ways. The first way is to take some white wax crayon and write a message. Then you take any color paint and you paint over it, and the message suddenly appears. If you don't want to do it with that, that's very simple. That's for your little ones. Your older ones, you get them to mix some bicarbonate water, and then they write with the bicarbonate water on the piece of paper. And then they take grape juice, and they've just put a little bit of grape juice across. They wipe it across with a sponge or with anything, and the message comes alive because the acidity versus the alkalinity, the two don't mix, and the paper stays one color, and your message becomes this bright message on the page. Really a fun way of doing it. If you've got old CDs lying around, which most people do have, what you do with that is you take a CD, you then attach a bottle top to it, a Coke bottle or any kind of bottle top, or even one of those bottle tops from the bottles where you pull the lid open to drink, and then you can push it back down again. I suppose you'd call it a squeeze bottle. Any of those lids you attach to the middle of the CD. You make a hole in the bottle top as well. And then what you do is blow up your balloon, and you attach your balloon to, you just twist the balloon so that it keeps the air, and then you attach it to the bottle top. And then as soon as you've attached it to the bottle top, it starts to skate all over the table. It's called a table hovercraft. And the children really enjoy watching their hovercraft. And you can even play games with it. You can push it, and your hovercraft takes off this way, and then your hovercraft takes off that way. And they have a lot of fun playing with their table hovercraft. The last of our fun experiments on this page is one of my favorite ones that I used to do when I did the classes of moving toys. This is to make a very simple catapult. You take 3 popsicle sticks and join them together so that they make a nice thick popsicle stick. You then take 1 popsicle stick above and 1 popsicle stick below. me show you again. One above, one below, and the 3 in the middle. You then put elastic bands to hold it firmly because you don't want it to move around. And with some glue, you attach a bottle top to the end of the top one. Then you take your missile. It could be a marshmallow. It could be a small toy like my little koala. I'm going to launch him. All you do is pull this down and release. He's gone. Away went my koala. You can do it with, as I say, marshmallows. You can do it with anything. And you release your little catapult. Again, using your science of how different things work, and you creating new ideas for the children to be able to do. So now, let us continue with that. The last one we're going to be doing today is, for me, the best one of all, bubble fun. We all love bubbles. Even older people like to play with bubbles, even if they don't want to admit it. This mixture has been given as a recipe by a gentleman who for the last 10 years, or for at least 10 years, has been creating bubbles that can hold a whole room of people, can hold you name it. He is well known for his bubble making. And you can look him up on the internet because he is really amazing. And he's given us this recipe to make a much stronger bubble than the bubbles we buy in our local bubble shop. So what you do is you take 1 liter of hot water and 250 milliliters or a cup of good quality washing up liquid. To that, you add 2 to 4 tablespoons of glycerine, because the glycerine makes the bubble thick and last longer. I always go for the 4 tablespoons because I like a really nice thick bubble. And then the fun begins. If you can leave it overnight or for a few hours, it just seems to make the mixture much, much stronger. So the longer it's been left, the stronger it is. But you can take these things like pipe cleaners and make a shape. And then you run your shape through the liquid, and then the child can run with it, and out come these square bubbles out the back. Bubbles don't have to be round. You can also take some and put it in a baking tray, give them a straw, let them blow. Instead of the bubbles going everywhere, they form a tower. And eventually they've got bubbles on their faces because the bubbles have grown so high, and they have such fun making them. You can also take the end of a bottle and then so that it looks like a funnel. And then onto that, just put some tape on some thickish plastic with a little slit in it, or little holes in it. It doesn't matter. You can put a slit holes, and you put some bubble liquid in. Don't make the holes too big because you don't want the liquid pouring out. You put a little bit in, and then you blow into that, and out through the holes come all these bubbles, and they really tie themselves up. It's amazing. You can use something out the kitchen. Just put it in and do this with it. And lastly, you can put the liquid into one of those shells that they had when they're young for sand and water, and then take a hula hoop. Put the hula hoop in, and then pull the hula hoop up. And as you pull the hula hoop up, so this huge bubble comes up, and they are standing in a bubble. You have no idea. It doesn't matter what age they are. They love it. The teenagers think it's just so cool. The younger ones are just going, wow. And they just want to be in there. You can also make yourself huge. This is a small version of it. I've taken 2 straws. I've put some string between it. The string goes with it. You drop it into the string, and then you run with it. You can either run with it above your head, or you can run with it sideways, and then this huge bubble comes out the back. That is the first of your straw strings in the bottom left-hand corner. Then you can make the really big one, which is 1 meter across and 1.2 meters below. and that you just dip in and then you pull it and away you go. And the bubble doesn't come out as a single bubble. You might get bits of bubble, some that have stuck together, some that have gone somewhere else. You never know what shape you're going to get out of your bubble machine. I call it a bubble machine, but really it's 2 sticks and some string. But I've done it for birthday parties. It is the most wonderful thing. All the children want to do is play, play, play. And of course, you can use the traditional, when you've had one of these bubbles, you take the inner out and you can put that in, and that makes these really strong bubbles. Sometimes if we want to have fun, I'll fill with this mixture into one of these, and then we go to the park and the rest of the kids can't understand why their bubbles are this size and our bubbles are these huge bubbles that come out that are big and strong and last, while their little bubbles go pop, pop, pop. And when my granddaughter is asked, the comment is my granny's secret recipe, and she won't tell them how it's done. I haven't actually shown her how it was done anyway. Right. Well, thank you everyone for being in class. It has been a pleasure having people just watching from live from YouTube. I hope you've had a great time. There are plenty more classes with lots of ideas and exciting things. There are new classes coming up of quizzes, birds in my garden. There are a variety of new ones coming up as well. So I hope you enjoyed your time. I wish you would all join at some stage so that you can get all the emails with all the different experiments, and that you will be able to invite friends to come and join you as well on this journey. So thank you again, everyone, for being with us. If you have any queries, help it get set up, spread the word, or become a host yourself. Suggest any classes that you would like to have on Get Set Up too. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for being with us. Thank you very much, Brandon, for being here with me.
Thank you so much,
And
sis.
it's have a lovely evening, everyone. Good night.